Wisconsin's 9-day gun deer season just wrapped up on Sunday, and we thought we would take a look at the hunt from a different perspective. Here's Martha with more.
Well, hunters can tell you there were some new regulations this year when it comes to tagging and registering their deer, and when it comes to enforcing those laws. DNR conservation wardens are out in full force during the hunt to make sure hunters understand and follow those rules and are staying safe. Here's more in News 8's Our Outdoors.
I grew up in La Crosse, and I grew up playing in the woods. I grew up in a hunting and fishing and outdoor recreation family. So for me, you know, it puts a smile on my face knowing that every day I go to work, I get to protect the resources that have really made me the person I am.
Megan Jensen just wrapped up her first gun deer season as a DNR conservation warden. Throughout the year, she puts thousands of miles on the roads through parts of Trempealeau and Buffalo counties, enforcing the law.
We can start our day doing one thing, and then that can change depending on complaints we receive or observations that we make while we're on patrol.
And this gun deer season came with its own new set of challenges.
Hello! State Conservation Warden, looks like you had some success.
With the new Wisconsin DNR Go Wild system that changed the way that hunters need to validate a deer they harvested by writing on the tag and then registering it online or by phone. And when the deer has to be tagged was a common question for a lot of hunters.
Nice to meet you. It looks like you got the tag on here.
Tag is on, yep.
Now the requirement is to attach that tag when you separate yourself from that animal. So we have the line, if you leave it, tag it.
Jensen knows she's building relationships with every encounter she makes, and it's also important for hunters or anglers to know what to do when they're approached by a warden.
So when a warden approaches you out in the field, it's important to remember that we're coming out to do our basic license check. But the biggest thing to remember is to follow our directions of what we like you to do. If you're hunting with a firearm, make sure you point that muzzle in the safe direction.
And if you do have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Jensen dropped into this experienced hunting camp, and they had plenty of questions about this year's changes.
Yeah, and that's one reason why the department gives you till 5 p.m. the day after harvest to allow hunters that time to go where there's reception or make it into town to borrow a phone from someone.
And at the end of the day, with all of the calls taken and questions answered, Jensen likes to hear all the hunting success stories too. So when one neighbor got the big buck everyone had seen on their trail cameras, they shared that too.
Because everyone's seen it on their cameras, so he actually brought the rack in that night so everybody could get a look at it. And that's the camaraderie of the hunting.
Well, you know, early numbers show hunters took about 140,000 deer this year during the gun deer hunt, but final numbers aren't expected until tomorrow. And you know, and there's still the muzzleloader season and also the antlerless deer season, so hunting is far from over.
Absolutely. And so what if someone's out and about, whether they're hunting, fishing, or maybe just a regular citizen, and they see something that might be concerning to them? What should they do?
Well, you know, it does turn out that in most of our counties here, we do have about 2 wardens per county. So there are people you can call. There's also the main line you can call. So if you have a question, for instance, you can always call the number you see there on your screen. That's 1-888-WDNR-INFO. Or let's say, like you said, you actually have something you think someone needs to report something they see as illegal or just have an issue. They do also have a hotline that's 1-800-847-9367. And Jensen's biggest tip, whether you are hunting or fishing, is to make sure you look at those regulations again each year just to make sure there haven't been changes like this year.
Because they do change.
They
often.
do.
All right. Thanks, Martha.